Hello. Thank you all for coming. My name is Cynthia McElroy. I'm the manager of Newark People's Assembly. The mayor wanted to host community meetings to find out what the community needs, the voices of the community, and what you would like the mayor to know, not only just the mayor, but the people in City Hall, as well as the police captains. This is a public safety meeting, but however, if there's any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. So I just want to thank you all, and we're going to start with Mayor Baraka opening up.
Thank you. Thank you. Cynthia McElroy is our manager, as she said, of People's Assembly. And the job of People's Assembly was Andrea over there. She moved on to higher things. And so Cynthia is now, taking it over. But it's really the opportunity, so you should have a relationship with the People's Assembly. They have a kind of email list, all of these things, so you'll know all of the things that are happening in the city. Meetings like this, other larger meetings that need to take place. If you have a relationship, you get on their email serve, they'll make sure you get all of the information. It also serves as an opportunity for people to develop block associations, tenant associations, and all of those things, because mostly the blocks that have block associations have a greater opportunity to get the needs dealt with and met when you have a block association and tenant association. That's just, my experience in city government. It was always like that. It's also like that as a principal. The parents that came to school the most, their teachers, their students got the best attention. Unfortunately, but it's true. So block associations work, because usually when people have problems, they call individual offices and people. You might have to call 15 different people, 2 different people, 3 different people. We all call different people. Block associations and the People's Assembly gives you an opportunity to talk to multiple people at one time. So if I had a block association, I can invite the head of DPW, I can invite code enforcement, I can invite public safety, I can invite all of these people, have one conversation with everybody all at once, and come to find out that some of the issues you have might not be a police issue, it might be in fact an engineering issue, a DPW issue, and you get to find that out. And block associations that are well organized usually get better service because of those things, and can respond to issues that they have on their community. Today, I told Cynthia to organize meetings around public safety. There have been 3 specific areas in the city, in my mind, based on the data that I have, that needed some attention around public safety, based on the data from last year and this year. That's it. So how things look last year versus this year shows some changes that I think we need to discuss. And maybe you guys have some information or knowledge or ideas about what that looks like for you, as opposed to what it looks like for public safety, for myself, as we meet and discuss these things. So I would like to hear what people feel, and any ideas or things that you want to point out to us that will help make this better, make your lives and your community better, right? We usually have giant public safety meetings, and everybody comes out from all over the place, and I like to narrow it down to specific communities so we can get what the community feels in that area. So that's why we're doing this. So I'm done, Cynthia, and I'll be here to answer questions as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna come around. If you guys could just put your hands up, I'll bring the mic around. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Captain.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Hector Rocho. I'm recently transferred to the 7th Precinct. I'm the new commander there. So it is a pleasure of mine to come here and serve this community. I'm a product of Newark, born and raised, educated, the whole 9. So I have a stake in what happens, right? Because I care, because my family lives here, right, in North Newark. So I'm invested, right? I'm also vested in the community. I'm big on community policing. I'm big on engaging the community. I'm big on hearing your problems. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to solve every last one of them. That's impossible. I can't, right? But I'm going to give you my best effort to help you and minimize whatever's going on, right? We have issues here. I'm just getting my feet wet. I'm starting to see what's going on. I'm driving through the neighborhood, seeing what's what, who's doing what are the problems in each neighborhood, and we're going to take a proactive approach to address them. Okay.
Thank you. So we're gonna go around with questions. Just raise your hand, I'll come to you. Just before we get done, I just wanna thank Eman Hop for allowing us to have the meeting here. Thank you. Anybody wanna start, open up with questions?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abdul Haq. I'm the Vice President of the Roseville Neighborhood Association. About a few years ago, myself and my wife, we were in this community trying to get the concerns of the people to come out to community events like this. We had an issue where they were about to close down our firehouse on Park Avenue, so those of you may know. Through collective efforts of concerned individuals, we get a petition together to show that what can be done when we all work together and we have some of the same issues that are still plaguing us to this very day. A lot of times we don't know who to contact and how should we approach a particular problem. But the bigger thing is that we are all connected. Everything happens on our block. Someone knows something about a particular issue. We're afraid to speak up because we don't think that it concerns us. It's not happening to me, so I'm going to turn a blind eye until it comes to your doorstep. So what we need to do is to just be fearless in the effort that we all are responsible for one another, whether we know one another or not, whether we like each other or not. That's a smaller picture, right? Those are personal issues and those are personal prejudices that we've got to learn to overcome. The scariest thing is to face adversity when it's happening, when you don't think that you can do anything that will change your condition in your community, to speak up. And a lot of times you'll find that sometimes just by speaking up, you may find a very easy solution just by saying, I'm not standing for that, I'm not tolerating that, enough is enough, and just say something. So we want to welcome all of the people that's coming out, just to let you know that we still have issues in our communities that government needs to know what we need, and if we don't speak up, they'll never address any of the things that we need. So just to let you guys know, we are going to take a positive approach and try to introduce ourselves to the community for those people that don't know us. So before you guys leave, please feel free to come and speak to me and my wife. We would like to hear some of the concerns and issues that you guys may have on a bigger note. So thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, everyone. G. Curitan, the West Ward District Leader, and a Georgia King Village resident. First, I would like to thank our police officers and police department for all the great work that they do here in this city and putting their life on the line and the sacrifices that they make each and every day on behalf of this great community. It's going to take all of us working together to bring change. And to add to what's going on right now with the hot spots, I'm concerned about the hot spots that are located throughout the city of Newark, where, I would say, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking it's only like 15% of the population that these hot spot encompasses, 15%, because the rest of the residents are tax-abiding residents that are trying to do the best they can day by day, but there's only a small percentage of people in our neighborhoods that are wreaking the havoc on our communities and everything. But back again to the hot spots, what I would suggest, this is just my suggestion, that a lot of officers should come, really just get out of their cars and just start walking around, talking to people and becoming familiar with the community that they're serving, instead of sitting behind like a glass wall or a car, but just to get out and become friendly with the residents in the city of Newark, and you'd be surprised the information, when they feel like they can trust you, they will probably disclose a lot of information that's causing problems as long as their identity is safe and everything. So by having them out of the cars, I would say maybe 80% of them or 70% of them out of cars, walking a beat, walking that neighborhood where the little children can get a positive perspective on what law enforcement is all about and what they do and how they do it and everything, to understand and to trust our law enforcement. Because a lot of people have a negative connotation regarding the police officers because that's what they see in their community. But if you had those officers in those hotbeds, getting familiar with the community, aligning themselves with them, I strongly believe we would see a great change in our community. I think that's the only way we're going to really combat the issue, is addressing these hotbeds and having officers on foot. And Georgia King Village is one of those hotbeds. I'll say that as a resident of Georgia King Village for 40 years, and I've been fighting for 40 years, yet still, we need officers talking to people friendly, doing activities with our young people too, and with the community, not just coming in, but maybe playing some games and doing some things with our residents and find out what's going on. That's all I have to say. G. Curitan.
So I would say
Thank
that Ms. Curran is right, but the number is a lot lower than that. It's way less than 15%. The number is way less than that. And hotspots are terminology we use for people who don't know. We use that terminology from COVID. We got that from COVID. And we applied it to policing and public safety. That's what we use on our side. The civilian side, we use hotspots to identify areas that are recurring issues, and Georgia King Village is one of those. One of the reasons why we came to Lower Roseville is because it wasn't necessarily on our list like that. And this year versus last year, for example, in terms of homicides, we had 0 last year in this area, and we have 5. So to me, that's enough for us to be able to have at least a discussion about some different things that are going on. I also want to thank the imam here, Imam Dawood, for allowing us to, we didn't do that respectfully for being in his house of worship, so thank you.
Next question.
Good evening to all of you. If I look around, most people probably work for the mayor or someone, a police officer or so, but I have about 4 or 5 questions. I don't know how I want to see how you all will answer it. Most of the time when I come here, and I notice this happen to me a lot of times, you come here, somebody blocking the driveway, and you call the police officer, they never showed up. Maybe 5 or 6 hours you call, they never showed up. You have to wait and wait. One day, about 5 years ago, they blocked the driveway. Nobody can get in the parking lot. You come here for Fajr, they block in the driveway. 3/4 of the driveway, sometimes they block. Nobody do nothing about it. If you call them, nobody showed up. For my personal use, somebody blocking my driveway, they block close to my driveway. I want to know how far you could park before you get in. Like 1 car only could park, they park 2 cars, they're blocking my driveway and the next neighbor driveway. My water bill keep going up. They charge you interest. When you speak to somebody in City Hall, they say you water your plant and everything. I lose tenant and still my water bill keep going up and up. I don't know what's the reason it keep going up. And one more question I get. All these basements were rented out. If the city going to do something about make it legal or illegal, I like to know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So I'll let you respond to the police thing, and I'll talk about the other 2.
Okay. As far as the parking situation is, you asked how far they can park from your property. It's really up to the cut. right? There's really no set. It's up to the cut that you can gain access without being having to go around, being inconvenienced. The problem with the cops coming, I'm sure the cops came at some time. The problem is that it's a lower priority job. So we always respond by priorities. So the higher priority has to take precedence. I know that for you, it is a precedence, but if there's something else going on that takes it more police response, that's what we're gonna go to first.
I want to ask a question before I talk to the other thing. Are you calling 911 to get the police there? Okay.
Directly.
What's directly? What do you mean directly?
Wait 5-6 hours before they show up.
What do you mean directly when you say you
I
call people
the
directly?
precinct, like,
Or you calling the precinct?
the precinct directly, I call on First Avenue, and
Oh.
that's 10th Street.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. There's a 733-6000 non-emergency number that you should call, so it'll be on a dispatch. So we can know when you called and what you're calling for. Some people in other meetings have been calling 911. I've been telling them not to do that. It's not an emergency. It's like calling the fire department, falsely for fires. They can't respond, and it stops them from going other places. The number to call is 973-733-6000. That's the non-emergency police number. We also can keep record of your call if you call that number, right? So you shouldn't, obviously if you call a precinct, they're changing, people are moving, all kind of stuff is happening. It's probably difficult, almost impossible for the precinct to dispatch somebody out to a place, because folks are at other jobs and other things are going on. I would say call the 6000 number. In terms of your water bill, the city hasn't raised water rates in God knows how long. So if your water bill is going up, you should take a look at what's happening. It might be it might be your sewer bill that's being increased through Passaic Valley. So it might be the sewer side that's increasing. You take a look at that. They've been increasing it. Second, third, and by the way, we have Passaic Valley in court around those specific things because they've been billing Newark overall, we believe incorrectly. So we're in court about that right now as we speak. If Kareem, the director, does a fairly good job at responding to people's requests with non-payment of water bill or interest. They waive interest very easily. We have a program that allows people to pay their water bill based on what they can pay over a period of time, so you don't have water shutoffs, because we try not to shut people's water off, at least residents. So I think you should call the water department, have a conversation with the director there, because there is a specific program that we have in place now that allows you to pay what you can pay over a period of time to get your water bill down without like them turning your water off or billing you some crazy amount of money and forgiving the interest at the same time. So I know that happens and it's a fact. So we should figure out who you're speaking to in the water department and maybe they can help with that. I know there was one more. Let me respond to one more.
Come back to the water bill. I mailed my check like 3 weeks before. When you look at your check, they said they didn't cash it in time, and they had either $1.50 or $2 interest.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
Just
you
call
mail it in time,
Kareem
and they
Adeem.
still charge you that interest.
Call Kareem Adeem in the water department. Kareem Adeem, he'll take care of it. Director Adeem will take care of the issue you have. He's a very good brother. He will take care of it. If there's something that the city did on our behalf that's incorrect, he will certainly correct it. I have full faith in that. And if there's any issue around paying the water bill, he can guide you in the right direction to pay it so you're not overburdened with your water bill. His name is Mr. Adeem. He's the director. That's the person you should probably reach out to. And before you leave, I'll find out if I can get a number over there for you before I get out of here. The last question was what now?
Come back to the parking. They're blocking the driveway. If you come here most day on Friday, they keep blocking the driveway. Especially this driveway, they keep blocking.
Okay.
Especially on Friday.
These guys are here. Hopefully we can figure out a fix for that. Yep.
And there is the next question concerning the police officer. I have a camera, right? Every time they ask...
You had another question, though, before you get to that. What was the question?
The basement.
Right, so, yeah. So the city has a new zoning ordinance that we are now back at the zoning board because we made some substantial changes. We're going to pass it. Hopefully the council passes it. I don't want to speak out of turn. The council passes it and it becomes the new zoning law, which allows a myriad of different things that was not allowed before. One of them is converting parts of your house into ADUs, but only in specific zones. So if you live in a residential 2 or residential 3, it's not allowed at all. Residential 2 and residential 3 are areas where there's 2-family and 3-family homes on your block. If there are 2 and 3-family homes on your block, it's not allowed because it already has density. This is for areas that don't have the density. So instead of people illegally converting their basement or garage into an apartment, you will now be able to do that, but you still have to get permits from the city to come out and inspect it, and then you need conditional approval. Conditional approval means your neighbors have to, so it's not illegal, but your neighbors have to say, okay. That's conditional approval, meaning you go to the zoning board, and the zoning board, your neighbors get to come to the zoning board and say, we don't want this. And they have to make a determination about whether they're saying is valid, whether they're saying you shouldn't have it is a valid reason, or if it's just arbitrary and capricious. In essence, it is allowed. It's going to be allowed through the new zoning ordinance. Only in R1s though. So the difference I know is R1, R2, R3. R1s are blocks that only have 1-family homes on them. Or neighborhoods, 1-family neighborhoods and homes on them. Yep. So if you live in a block that has multiple kind of dwellings on it, buildings, 3 families, 4 families, then that what I just said is not allowed. Now go ahead. Last one, so you can let other people ask questions. Go ahead.
Okay, I get the next question. Like I have a camera, right? Most time the police officer come, they ask to look at the camera. When something concerns them, they show a lot of interest. When something concerns you, they don't show no interest at all. Like I get my motorcycle stolen, I approach them. They said they will get back to me. Over a month and a half finished, nobody get back to me. Thank you.
Okay, in reference to that, we have a program where you could sign up with the police department and we can get access to your cameras all the time so that we can use that footage. So whenever you have a problem that we want or you have one, we can also get it. We can look at it. Do you understand? Yes?
I understand what you're saying, but like I say, right, when something concerns them, they show a lot.
Yeah, but if you sign up, then you don't have to worry about the choice. They're going to have access to it all the time. They'll have access to it all the time if you sign up for this. You don't want that.
Hello. I think I can help him out. He was here earlier, so he said that his motorcycle was stolen from in front of his house, and he offered them to review the cameras. Nobody came out and got back to him, so that's what he's stating regarding his motorcycle being stolen.
Sign up now, so we have access to the cameras all the time.
How long ago did they take your motorcycle? It's over a month and a half. Okay, so yeah, finished, yeah.
Next, any other questions, concerns?
Hi, my name is Antonio. My wife is here with me. We moved to Newark 12 years ago. We are trying to save a landmark that is being a store for the community for all races for many, many years, going like 90 or plus years. The Caruso family was there for many years. So basically, my wife and I are trying to bring that market back to the community and bring to the community really healthy foods and be friends with us, you know. So it's a challenge because, you know, I believe that Newark is under you could call it a renaissance. Newark is, I believe that Newark is going to become it's already a very interesting place to be. But I mean, I think that the development is coming and capital is coming jobs are coming, buildings are coming. So that's one of the reasons we're here. At any rate, we took it upon ourselves to start a block association. And we were very lucky to, first of all, welcome Captain Jarocho. How are you? And I think you and I have met in the past for some other things. I think I've met you before, yeah. But anyway, we were very happy with Captain Segarra and Lieutenant Caballero, where we have been preparing a program to the end of the year. And our first, if everything goes to schedule, our first event for the Block Association is going to be September the 16th on a Saturday. We're going to try to do it from 12 to 4 p.m. I was having a conversation with the Mr. Mayor, and I was telling him that we would have a Medicare table, we were going to have a Casa Don Pedro, we're going to have another table with the neighbors that do carpentry work, plumbers, or electrical, so that the people in the neighborhood can use them instead of calling somebody that maybe comes and runs away and doesn't finish the job. But like I said, it's going to be very interesting. Also, I met somebody from the Newark Association for Legal Advice that they offer free advice for the people. So it's going to be really interesting. We've been very, very happy with the work of Captain Segarra and accompanied by Lieutenant Caballero, which we would really like, even though we have a new captain, we would really like her to be still involved in our program. And it's a real pleasure for me to meet all of you. Please come to our event on the 16th. And I think that by being a good neighbor, you know, maybe the gentleman that has the issues with the motorcycle and stuff, things are going to be better for you, you know. So, like I said, you know, working together, the community can do a lot by helping the police department know what is happening. I understand what you were saying before. About 10 years ago, I was in the warehouse working with my wife. And my wife said to me, there is people walking, it says something is walking on the roof of the building. I said to her, what are you talking about? It cannot be true. She goes, be quiet, be quiet. So I started listening, steps on the roof. So I say to her, I'm going to go up there, you call the police, right? So I went up there, and when I went up on the roof, there is a hatch that you open and you go on the roof, right? And there is one guy, another guy there. So I said, what are you doing in here? You're trespassing. So I grabbed one of them, big mistake. There was another 10 guys on the other side. Guess what? I started yelling, all the lights in the neighborhood turned on. The guy started running away, you know. One guy pulled a knife on me. Thank God I'm here to say hello to you guys. Nothing happened to me. The police came 3 hours later. But recently, with Captain Segarra and hopefully with Captain Jarocho and with the help of Lieutenant Caballero, we are going to still do a great job, because now we are getting together in the neighborhood and become friends. Like, in other words, I'm not going to come in front of your house and dump in front of your house, because we're going to start spreading some civics, telling people don't do that. You know, I mean, I don't want to wake up in the morning and pick up every day. Every day there's stuff everywhere because they just dump it there. So I think it's going to work. Let's give it a best try on the 16th. Thank you, Lieutenant Caballero. Please thank Captain Segarra. I might get a chance to go visit him. And like I said, me and my wife, come on, Maria, stand up, say hello. Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Thomas Reddick. I've been a resident of Newark all my life, and I do have a couple questions. I guess Ms. G might have asked one of the questions about the rodents. I don't know if you did. What are we doing about the rodents, not in Georgia King, but like 2nd Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street by the highway? Are we trying to abate rodents in those areas as well?
First, you have to call the health department, and when you do that, they have a rodent control unit that comes out and do that. So they respond to service calls. They're not just going to go out and do traps and stuff unless there's calls for service in that area. So because it's not a lot of them, so they're going to go based on where the call is.
Okay.
Calling them about areas, and more importantly, they're probably going to go to areas where people are living more than they go to the other parts.
When you say people living, you mean where?
Yeah, like close to their homes, like where homes are. Like,
Well, I mean, I live on 2nd Street, it's a bunch of houses, so
I thought you said by the highway.
Oh, well, we are by the highway. We're on 2nd Street that leads out to 280. Okay, so yeah, because we have called. I've called about the garbage cans. I heard that the city was giving away garbage cans, and we haven't. They keep telling us, well, now they said February. They're going to be passing them out in our community. I keep getting different dates.
Yeah, I'll get the date later. Maybe you call Raheem Smith at DPW to get the direct date.
Okay.
Raheem Smith, he can give you the direct date for your neighborhood when you could get your garbage can, or go down there and pick it up, which is what I would do. But we get a couple of thousand at a time. There's obviously tens of thousands of families, so we get a couple of thousand, we got them out. They're definitely necessary, and that's both for rodent control.
Okay. Third question is the McAvoys. I want to know what's going on with the McAvoys. It's been over almost
Complex for those who are not old enough to know that.
the McAvoys. 50 years. It's got to be 40 years they've been closed down. I mean, and personally, it does mean something to me. I grew up around here, and yeah, so I like to know what's going on,
It's not city property, so.
It's not city property?
No.
So, okay, because I remember when some folks bought it, this been 25 years ago, they bought it, they were supposed to fix it up. Is there a tax abatement attached to that?
Well, that depends on the developer. And the developer, we don't add tax abatements to it. It's a development process. It's not a city property, so we can't develop it. So privately, somebody has to develop that property. When they come into the city and talk about their performance, things that they need in order for the project to work, then the city tries to fill those gaps. We fill it either with tax abatements, grants, other kind of tools, economic tools that we have to help them fill the gap so they can in fact develop the property. But somebody has to come with a project first because it's not ours.
Right.
The only thing that we can do is continue to fine individuals for not keeping the property up. Or we can take them to court and try to do eminent domain. But we have to have a plan of our own that is of public use to do eminent domain. We just can't do it arbitrarily.
So, and that's what I'm saying, because if I owned a piece of property and it sat dormant for 20 to 30 to 40 years, I'm pretty sure the city would be on me,
There are a lot of properties like that. In fact, there are a lot of properties like that in the city. The problem is back when those properties were given away or sold to people, there were no reverter clauses on those properties. We live in capitalism, which means we can't take people's property. They'll defend people's property before they defend you. So at the end of the day, if there's no reverter clause, the city can't claw the property back unless we go to court, and we have a very small kind of opportunity to take a property from somebody, maybe through eminent domain, if we're using it for public use or public good, we can probably do that. And that's a process that takes time. it's always easier to get a developer to develop the property, or sell the property, or do something else. But because you mentioned it, I mentioned it to our folks at economic development, to try to add some pressure to whoever owns the property, figure out what's going to happen. We got Westinghouse that's like that. We got vacant lots in cities. I mean, in the wards that are like that, small vacant lots that we don't own, abandoned properties that we don't own, that we can't take from people.
Oh, okay.
We can't just take the property. Or you can sue us, and if you sue us, we have to pay you the fair market value for that property. So in essence, the city would have to buy the property from them.
I personally, I just don't understand why nobody if somebody owns it, have we approached the owners and said, look, let's develop it?
Most people leave it empty because they get a couple of benefits from it. You get, you write that stuff off your taxes, that's number one, and you're waiting for the market to change. Once the market changes, you feel like you're going to sell the property and get triple the value on what the property is worth when you purchased it. That's what people have been doing in Newark for a long time. And because the value has changed, so Newark property values have increased tremendously in the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, there are properties in Newark that are selling for $1 million. Tell people that, it's true. There are vacant land that sells in Newark for over $1 million in earnings. So at the end of the day, people are waiting for an opportunity to sell their property at a value higher than what they purchased for that, which is what's happening. That's the only justification that I have.
That's 40 years is a lot of years. I mean, those are generations. That's generations.
We've been in a bad situation for 30, 40 years. Hasn't been recent until the values change. But I'm definitely going to put folks on that because to be straightforward transparency, I haven't even thought about the McRoy, that property in a long time, right over the bridge, so forth and so on, right there. It's right, it's been abandoned for a long time, the asset crime in this community.
I mean, it's just that we talk about homelessness and all of that. It's just so much that could bring, true value to our community.
I agree. I agree. Good evening, sir.
Excuse the sunglasses. Overcoming an eye injury.
All right.
All right. Just to touch on the gentleman's point with the rodent, I find that on my block on North 5th Street, a lot of folk doesn't have trash receptacles. Is there possible to pass an ordinance to make it mandatory for you to use trash receptacles to place your trash in?
That it is the ordinance. That is the way to
enforce it. And
the ordinance says that we do. The ordinance says that you have to have it in the garbage, in a bag, in a can with a top on it. Obviously, everybody doesn't do that. We write people up. We do that. The most we can do is fine them based on the code is that we have to do that. We can do it more. So we definitely can do it more. Our code enforcement department, as well as our inspectors from DPW, can do a better job. Some of them probably might need a little bit more. They can do a better job at finding people. I do know, it's a double-edged sword for them because when you start finding people, they get upset and show up and cuss people out and so forth and so on. So at the end of the day, it's like it comes with territory, just like policing. It comes with the territory. And so they just have to enforce the law. But that is the law, which is why we're passing out garbage cans, because to get rid of the thing that some people are saying they don't have the can, they can't get it. So we're going to show them the cans we're talking about, actually what you need, by giving people, each household, at least one city garbage can.
So how do when do we get them? I keep
From
hearing
DPW. We've been giving them out. Like I said, they come to a couple of thousand at a time, maybe 3,000, 4,000 at a time. They come, so we don't have like tens of thousands of them.
Do we have to go pick it up?
No, they will drop it off to you, but I'm saying
Do we have to sign up for it?
that, yes,
I called them.
you have to sign for it.
Yeah.
So we have a database that we're gonna keep digitally of those garbage cans.
Right.
So if people
But they
say,
got
my
one
garbage
gone.
can is gone,
Right.
we first of all, we can know we gave you one.
Right.
You can't come down and get three.
Right.
One, we know we gave you one. And two, if somebody steal it, we can find out where it is.
No, I think it's a good program. I've seen the garbage cans, but just trying to get one.
I know. So we don't have money to give you 3. We're hoping you get 1 and buy the other 2.
My second half of the question is, so I have been down to City Hall to see if I can get a speed hump, speed traps.
Speed bump.
Speed bumps
Yes.
installed in my neighborhood. I live on North 5th Street, stated before, and I'm like a half a block from 280. And cars just careen down the avenue, and it's not safe. Right around the corner from an elementary school, actually.
Right.
So the question is, how do I streamline the process? Because I was told that I need 2/3 of signatures. So I started knocking on the doors. A lot of folks told me,
No, I don't know where you got that from.
yeah, they said that you need 2/3.
Yeah, that's not the
2/3 of the
process.
population of the block.
That's not the process.
Well, that's what I was told at City Hall.
So I have a couple of aides here, and hopefully they're taking notes on all the things you guys are complaining about, so they can respond to all this
So I
stuff.
was told 2/3, so I'm related back.
But what you need is a traffic study.
Okay.
So the engineering department has to do a traffic study of the block and find out who's speeding, how fast, but the reality is speed humps might not be appropriate. So we're not engineers, so myself, elected officials, other folks can't make a determination of whether you should have speed humps or not. The engineering department has to do that, because you might need bump outs, a stop sign, a traffic light. There may be other traffic calming measures that are more appropriate for your block than speed humps. And if you live on a throughway where emergency vehicles have to go through, you can't get it anyway. Because if the ambulance, fire engine, and so forth, they use that block, consistently based on a traffic study, you can't get a speed hump on that block for those very reasons, because it'll slow them down. Right? And there may be other ways to deal with the issues of speeding. And it might just be a criminal issue where we need to just put a checkpoint a couple of times a month to, let people know we out here watching you if you're doing drag racing or any other kind of crazy thing on my block. And the traffic study will determine if there's actual speeding on your block, what time is occurring, right?
I dropped
and
it
how.
actually.
Yeah.
Broad daylight, when the children are walking past, and then high school truck is coming down the
Yeah.
block. I mean, folks is trying to get
But the traffic study will help us gather the data for that information so we're not making mistakes. That's what it does. Because if we put something, and here's the flip of that, we put something there without the data and it has an adverse effect on that community, then we become liable for that, right? So if we say, oh, you want speed humps, you want speed humps, and the engineering department say, oh, it's not appropriate for speed humps. Somebody had jumped the thing and the car flying to somebody's house and killed somebody, and we did that without an engineering study, then we become responsible for putting those speed bumps down there without a traffic study. So the traffic study is the only thing you need. You don't need citizens to sign. You might need that if you want parking spaces or a block party or something like that, but not for speed humps.
So how do I get the process started?
Any of these folks in here can help you on this side, on this wall. You got councilwoman over there as well. We got a couple of our aides over there, so they can help. You got Councilman Crump, as well as Councilwoman Roundtree, as well as the West Ward aide there. They can help you with that process immediately.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, wait. All right, there we go. Thank you. All right. Good evening, Mayor, Captain. My name is Anthony Pierre, and I represent a community in Newark. Our street is actually Astor Street and Broad Street. It's kind of like maybe about a good, 5 or so minutes away from City Hall. But in that community, this question is going to be based on like homelessness and like drug addiction. What we've been having is, I'm a homeowner. I moved into that community in 2013. Really quiet area, at the time. But over the years, what we've realized, even up till recently, is that there's like a hotel, I think it's called the Riviera, which is a couple of blocks up, where there are there's a whole community of homeless people that obviously they live there, but what's been happening is in the mornings, they let out. They can't stay there obviously all day. So they let out in the mornings, they've got suitcases and things like that, and they come into the community and then they team up with drug dealers that show up in the neighborhood, and then they're doing their dealings right on our blocks. We've got we come out every day, we take pictures, they block our homes, our entrances. So it got really crazy. We don't have a block association yet. We're about to set one up for to do block watches and things like that. But what we did, we reached out to council people. We've been in communication with Pat Council. There's another, there you go, exactly. So what happened is we had a meeting. They were able to come to the meeting, and where we are, we're right between the 5th precinct and the 3rd precinct. When you make a phone call, those are the 2 possible precincts that will come to our area. We have very little police patrol, but after our meeting, we did a community walk. They came through, they helped us kind of look in the area. They saw what was happening. They didn't know how bad it was before. We've been taking pictures like crazy and sending it. We have like a direct line to the captain of the 5th precinct. Every time we call, they do send a vehicle, they clear out all the people, but we do this like all day long and all night, as it happens. But we realize it's not, it looks like is it a homeless issue? Or is it that they don't know where to go, or is it?
Because I think it's we have been down there, and there's some development that's getting ready to happen down there that'll help. There's development in the park that's getting ready to happen, $4 million worth of development in the park. 70 Hall is doing development. There's development happening further down the street there. The Hotel Riviera has not even been there a month. Right, so I don't want us to confuse the two.
Okay.
While the building has been there forever, those residents from 224 have not been there all of that time. They just got there. So I don't want them to get a bad name for the issues that are happening down there, because those issues have been happening for some time. And there are a few blocks that we know of that we spoke to the captain, the public safety director and the chief about, and I'll be down there myself a week from 2 weeks from today. Okay. So we let you talk in this meeting, even though this ain't about Roseville, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be over there I usually go out with a van. The hot spots, that is one of the hot spots that we talked about. So I'll be there in 2 weeks with the van and a whole bunch of folks, again, patrolling that area, trying to find remedy for the situation you're talking about there. But what you're saying is absolutely, positively correct, right? And we are trying to put more attention in that area. But I just don't want, not speaking about it because I don't want people to give the blame to those residents at Hotel Riviera who just showed up there, right? As a matter of fact, there was somebody that was sleeping in the back of the closed down old Walgreens that is now about to be the dollar store place. Right. I spoke to that gentleman who came to me and said, he is now moving to the Hotel Riviera, and this gentleman actually has a job. So he was sleeping back there with a job. So he's now living in the Hotel Riviera, as far as what he told me to the present time. So we are, I just don't want people to conflate the two. Because, it's easy for us to do that. Because we having a problem, we going to be, bothering those people up at the Hotel Riviera. And that's not to say that some folks from the Riviera may not show up down there. But ultimately, that place has not even been open long enough to take the blame for all of the stuff that's happening down there on Pennsylvania Avenue, Astor Street, all of that stuff, Brunswick, and I'll be there. So hopefully, you live on Astor?
Right on Astor.
So I'm gonna come find you when I come out there, okay? We can have a private conversation about some of the things that you're seeing. Maybe you can show me some pictures, and I can help advocate for you as well.
We got it. Thank you so much.
I ain't gonna be on it. It's all right too. Hi, my name is Latice Cheatham. I live on North 6th Street. And my neighbors, I love them all to death, even though they
North 6 and what?
Sussex, between Sussex and Dickinson. And these people play music every day, all day, until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I open my window light or walk out the door like, could you turn that mess down? I call the police. Soon they ride by, they turn it down. Then soon they get to the corner of Dickinson, it's turned right back up. They don't turn around though, but the music back up. So I told them one day in the morning when they sleeping, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I feel that's wrong. But, so what can I do about that?
The only thing you can do is keep calling.
I mean, I got 5 people on the block calling every night now. Every
All
night
right,
now.
but that's good. Get 5, get 10, get as many as you can to call.
But we
That way
can't
it puts
because half of the
more
block is family. So what I supposed to do? You
Well-
call on one family, the other family gonna get mad at you like, I don't care if you speak. I don't care if you speak to me or not. Y'all just, it's right to stop and call.
pressure. Yeah, we can give them a summons for noise. So you call us and we'll respond. My community service officer is taking the notes down there. Just keep calling and I'll have somebody ride. What time is this happening?
Every day.
No, what time though? All day?
All day.
All day? Because I was there not too long ago. I didn't hear the music.
I tell them, when I go to bed at 11 o'clock, I don't want to hear nothing when I get up in the morning because I hear it till 4 o'clock in the morning.
The noise ordinance after 11 o'clock
Yeah.
is 10 o'clock, I think.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock is when it stops, so they're not supposed to play after 10.
Stop what? They don't even turn it down that
Yeah.
respecting the neighbors.
After 10 o'clock, it's supposed to stop.
Okay, I said, thank you. I'm gonna keep going. So y'all don't be tired of me.
Maybe you could talk to somebody when this is over, give them some more information that's not on the camera, that'll help.
I don't care if I want them or not.
Okay, all right.
Y'all might do something else. I might have a shot somewhere. But I'm just messing. Now, if you use to a man, I'm not your road and stuff. Here's my garbage cans. I bought all the garbage cans, and I don't even own the house. I'm just a renter. And people still is not the garbage cans, but the lid is off the can. So what I'm gonna do, besides the renting what I'm gonna do?
Well, there's a specific kind of garbage, we give you a garbage can, so you can
Yeah,
know
well, the
the
lid, I bought one of them. I
the
bought 2.
specific
One
kind of
I
garbage
stole.
can to get.
And I went back and got my garbage can, so.
So the ones we give you, the lid is
Yeah, that's how mine
attached
is.
to it.
Well, now, I bought 2, so I stole one, but one of them, the boy stole it, I
They also wrote it.
and I grabbed my.
So you need to make sure they're rodent proof. Ours are rodent proof, so they can't,
I didn't know
yeah,
when
so
they
they
in my
can't.
house.
I
I
hear
had
you.
to walk on recycle can, and then I was like, okay, use that can right there for recycle, it's not gonna get mine.
So we're gonna provide you with one. We can talk to the owner about the other stuff, we can provide you with one, so you can know exactly what it is we're
I
talking
told the
about.
owner he can't go on my rent because I do too much around the house. You got no choice now.
Yeah.
Now, you remember my name in case we go to court about the same thing.
Okay, thank you. I do call 973-733-6000, and they usually come to remove parked vehicles. And there was nowhere to park. Parking is an issue in the city. It is. I mean, I'd love to go downtown, especially because there's so many great events happening, but there's nowhere to park. My kids don't want to take the subway, and I'm right up by the subway. And I'm like, let's take the subway, park the car, you know, and they don't want to do that. I don't know why. But so my neighbor even parked in my own driveway, 2 cars. My neighbor called the police, and they gave us $75 tickets, and we were parked in our own driveway. So, but they do come, you know, if you call. Let's see what I was going to say. I forgot. But yeah, but there's a lot going on, and it's like, it's the ordinances that I know it's difficult to, you know, uphold the ordinances that are going, you know, that you have for the city, but I have particular problems. I have a junkyard right directly across from me. It's probably 114. I have a forest. There's 6 raccoons that usually visit and jump in my neighbor's pool. This is on Park Avenue now. Her husband passed away. Yeah, there's 2 cars that are in the driveway. Yeah.
We can find them, but we can't clean it.
I know. I was wondering if, you know,
We can't.
I know.
We can't go on people's property.
I know.
We have to have a special ordinance passed.
I know.
Around lead service lines.
I know. I'm just venting.
We're gonna go there, though.
I'm venting. And there's also a full-blown recycling business going on directly next to the junkyard. And they start at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they start crushing the metal, and then the garbage truck comes, and and then that's probably why. I'm a retired teacher. Probably it's been about 2 or 3 years. I haven't gotten any sleep. And, you know, I'm trying to hang in there in the community, you know. But, and then, you know, the truck comes after they crush up everything. Metal, I mean, the noise, I'm gonna play it for you, believe me, I am. And then the truck comes, it's a B&B garbage truck. And then they haul the metal away.
This is a house you're talking about.
This is a house. Can you please give that to the mayor and the police? And I've called code enforcement.
What happened?
Nothing. It's been probably 5 years. But because I'm not, you know, I'm retired now, I can hear, you know, I'm not at home. I am at home, so I hear everything. I don't know why it doesn't bother anyone else, but I have to close. It's really been nice out. You can open your windows the past couple days, but I have to close my windows, you know, and yeah.
I need to have your address, though. Because if you don't know these people's addresses, we can at least go.
Oh, I know, it's
use your house as a
116 North 9th, 114 North 9th, and the other
Can you
one
write the
is
addresses on the back of these
I
papers?
will. Park Avenue, and there was something else I could say. Sure. I totally forgot. But, I'll think of it. Thank you. I'm kind of venting.
That's okay. The first thing you said, though, I'm trying to remember because I had an actual response for that. I forgot what it was.
Right, and there was something else that I forgot. Thank you.
About the trees, the forest and the people.
So I was one thing prior.
The ticket.
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay though, because you're on your job. You're doing your job. And, you know, patrolling the area now, you know, that's a great thing.
The wheelchairs can't pass through there. We call all the time.
But there was something else.
You said you called 6,000 and they removed the cars.
Yeah, they do. They come, because people usually park on my driveway all the time.
We're gonna send the folks over there. We can find these people. They don't, you know, we can find, and we can remove those cars.
Oh, you can?
Yes. If they're there and they're not supposed to be, we can remove them. Yes.
So, oh, I know what it was. I do go to the events in the city. I try to do that. I do that. That's what I forgot. Just make a long story short, publicizing meetings, publicizing events. Jackie Wilson's son, there were like 11 people there, maybe 12. He said, "What's going on?" But is there any way, like the old-fashioned way? I asked this question at the last meeting, email and everything. I ran off flyers and I went around to the bodegas, to the stores, on the trees, and I posted this meeting. We got to post in post offices, schools, restaurants, stores, cleaners.
Nail shops.
We have to post meetings. For some reason, all summer, we usually attend the events that you have going on, which are great. But where is half the wards? Where is everybody?
And we have it on a public, we have it now, all of the things on one website that you can look at all the people obviously not going there. We even have I was gonna speak to that, even have, for a couple of the events, we had shuttle service, shuttling people down to the events because we know there was an issue with parking and all that. So we shuttled that, we picked people up from certain spots, took you down there, and brought you back.
I saw the
At a certain time, we did that. But the interesting thing, because everywhere I go, people talk about parking. Over 50% of the people in the city don't own cars. So, which is interesting, which means that somebody else is parking in our town. Right. Because every community I go to have complaints about parking. We have all these auto shops that are in our community, and more than half of the people in the city are not, patronizing these businesses because they don't own a car.
Well, that also speaks to the fact that everybody may not have a computer,
Right, yeah,
to
we
go
know that,
on
yes.
the emails and
Yes.
the websites and all that.
I agree.
For the event. So let's start posting in schools. Schools are opening up. And
We
the
have to go
teachers.
back to the old way.
Yeah, we have to do that because you have so much going on. I didn't have to go anywhere else.
That's true.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I just remembered something else. Boarding homes. I'm noticing, like even on my block, it seems like it's a boarding house. Is there an ordinance that deems a boarding home or disallows it?
The zoning ordinance will determine whether you can put a boarding home on your block or not.
So how does the residents deal with that? Suppose we feel like it's a boarding house because we see all these different faces coming out.
I mean, again, that's code enforcement to come down.
Oh.
And they will find out, like, if it's zoned for that.
Okay.
They have tablets that they have.
Right.
They can basically look most of that stuff up on their tablet and tell you right away whether it's supposed to happen or not. But if it's not zoned for that community, then it's not supposed to be there. If it is zoned, you still, however, need a state license to have a boarding facility on that block. You just can't open your house and turn it into a boarding home. It's time for prayer.
One of the things we've been having is on our block, we've been having issues with illegal driveways. We've been having illegal driveways. People have been making new driveways where it's illegal, and it's been going on for over 5 or 6 years. We wanted to know when code enforcement comes through, how are they going to rectify the fact that those places?
That's not code enforcement. No, UCC would have to come out, which is the engineering department's purview. Right. Because if you build something, well, code enforcement can come out and communicate that to them. But if you're building something that's in violation, you built a whole new structure without permitting, without these other kind of stuff, they come out and make you stop doing that.
So would they also rectify the fact that they have broken the curb and actually put in a driveway that's not legally?
They would have to change it back, or the court can turn it over to us. They have to remedy it. They would have to remedy it. That's like if I illegally converted a 3-family house or a 2-family house into a 3-family house. So I go to a block and take a block that's only zoned for 1 families, and I make it a 3-family house. If it's upon construction, I can come and say you have to stop construction now, right? And you have to cease that. Obviously, if you far along and you got people in there and all this other kind of stuff, it's a longer process, but you still have to, convert it back, and we would have to go to court to make you do specific things. It's easier if we catch you in the process. It's more difficult if we've already done it, and we now try to make you undo it. That's going to take a court proceeding.
Okay, speaking of what you were just saying,
I'll speak loud enough, don't worry about it. Oh, they can hear me, trust me, they can hear me. You don't have to speak. So, but speaking on his behalf, we was just talking about, we have neighbors who have now, they slowly hit the sidewalk, or they just pull their cars on top of the sidewalk. They're breaking other people, they parking people's properties. So what we used to have, only park on our block is only.
You say parking on people's property?
Oh yeah, they're pulled. If a person has a legal driveway, they're pulled block the driveway. It's like we don't care. They're pulled on the sidewalk and block the sidewalk. At least actually before I came here, one of my neighbors who decided to put a driveway in front of their house some years ago, their relatives pulled them right on the sidewalk, blocked the sidewalk. We have people when you can't walk down the street, and we're right around the corner. So you walk down the street, you have cars blocked on the sidewalk.
That's illegal.
I know it, but okay.
So you call the police for that?
Oh, I called the police on a couple of things, so it's not a big deal. Like I called when we had a neighbor that had his rig parked on the street overnight for 2 weeks, and I couldn't understand why the cop ride past every day and didn't say nothing. So when I actually stopped the police officer, I guess it's the lieutenant, she came down, seen the car, she had a tow.
Right.
But I shouldn't have to stop. You ride past the park every day to see this. You ride all night and you see the same thing.
But it's also our job as, and I hear this all over the community, it's also our job as residents to be engaged, right? We also, there's other things that cops are doing, things in their mind. That's why people have to be supervised, right? Everybody has to be supervised. That's the purpose of community, right? So if I'm in a community and something is going on, and maybe the police are not seeing it, or maybe not paying attention to it the way that we want them to, we have to engage and get them to do that, right? We have to engage. We have to call the police, speak to the captain, the lieutenant, whoever we need to talk to. Say, look, this is happening. We need this to end in our community. We have to be engaged. And we can't assume that the police know more about what's happening in the neighborhood that you actually live in. Right? So that's what I tell people all the time. They say, oh, the police know this. Well, that's an assumption. We live here 24 hours a day, all day, every day. There's things that we see that police officers may not ever see because in their meeting, before they go out, they're told to look at specific things. The thing you saying ain't one of the things they told to look at. You know what I'm saying? So they might be told to review this, review that block, stop here, strenuous, look down here, this thing, look for this guy, be on the lookout for this person. That driveway ain't on it, right? So they might drive past there, and that's why it's our job to say, when you get your list, please add number 10, which is North 6th Street. This thing is a problem for me. That's why community meetings are important. Because some of this stuff can be fixed easily. You know, can be fixed easily if we show up and communicate with one another. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have time for 4 more questions, and then we'll have to. So the young lady right here, she had her hand raised.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Nichols. I'm here with my husband, Craig Nichols. We're from Abbotsford Ave, Block Association. One of the main things we put a request in a while back. We're not sure as to how do we go about to get a crime watch sign up on our block. I don't know if we need 1 or 2 on the block because our community is very involved where we do make those calls, and we just want the guys to know that we are partaking on our block, so we would like to have that up there. So I don't know if my husband would like to say anything.
First, we have to set up a crime watch. We can't just put up a sign that says crime watch and file a crime watch. We actually have to have a crime watch. There's a thing that you have to do is the whole process for that. Community service officers can help you out with that, getting that started. And then on top of that, then we have to go to a city to get the signs posted for traffic. We can't just arbitrarily put them up. We have to go through a process for that too. But the first process is starting up the watch.
We want to actually have it. Call the people. Yeah, it's not hard. Okay.
Joseph Caranta, 255 Berkeley Avenue. I wanted to reemphasize what Antonio and his wife Maria are doing in the Upper Roseville area with this group of people. I think it's going to make a difference. I want to welcome the captain to the 7th and give a shout out to our lieutenant who's done a wonderful job organizing this group. I think, not yet. And I wasn't done with you either. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for all of your commitment, your family as well, the wonderful works, the poems, your service in the school system, Central High School. Thank you very much for this, and this is great that people can come out and interact with you like this, and our council people.
Thank you, Mayor, for all your hard work that you do in the community. I live in 298 North 12th Street. But one thing I see you fix all the streets then, but on the 2nd Avenue from 13th Street to Roseville, half of the road is not fixed and get a lot of potholes.
So they pave part of it and not the rest?
Yes, they pave a part and then the whole part that's like you drive on the side, it's all.
Can you tell somebody the street you're talking about? Unfortunately,
It's from 13th Street, 2nd Avenue to Roseville.
we got to wait till the next paving season.
Oh, wow. The next paving season is after winter. Wow, so what gonna happen? What gonna happen in the winter with all this?
All plants close at a certain time every year, so all paving stops all over the state.
So could they fill all those potholes?
No, we can fill potholes.
Yeah, because they're huge potholes. Your wheels get in there.
We got a couple of pothole machines that we just tell DPW to pay the traffic signals with DPW. We just need that information so we can put stuff in the pothole, but we can't pay the street until probably March.
Okay, well if you fill the potholes, I think he can help until March.
That's a whole different process.
Yeah, I know.
It's a whole different process.
All right.
The asphalt plant shut down on us.
Okay.
Then at some point, we're not going to be able to even fill those potholes.
Oh boy.
Because once the weather changes, you know, it's just going to come back out.
Yeah. I know.
It's just going to come back out. And, you know, the snow and the salt will make it come out anyway.
Yeah.
The weather, though, is not going to hold, but snow and salt will make it come out. You know,
All
that
right.
really does the wear and tear, the salt, the snow, the shrubs.
Yeah.
On the block. So I'll put that on the list and make sure that at the top of the list, we got you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I just want to follow up on something the young lady over here and her husband, when she said with all of the illegal activity. I remember I read the paper and you said that you were going after absentee landlords hiding under LLCs. Are you still going after them aggressively to try to get their properties and find out who they are and hand them back over to the city so they can give it to other residents that may be able to upkeep them?
We are, and we're doing a lot of that through Invest Newark. We actually have a community development program that's happening now where we're partnering mid-sized developers with nonprofit organizations, local CDFIs to develop property that have been abandoned, that the city owner is purchasing property from. Some of the landlords the brother was talking about who have property that have been sitting on it for a long time, you know, that obviously that we can afford to get, to put a park, to be a part of that. So we're doing that, and we're going after LLCs, who their water bill and other things like that, to be able to find them on these specific properties that they have. The problem is if they buy a property, all of it is legal. They're not doing anything illegal. They can buy any property from anybody and convert it into whatever else they want to convert it into, as long as the zoning laws permit them to do that. So we have to, the only way we can do anything is if they're doing something, breaking local ordinances. So our defense is really to purchase the properties before they do. Foreclosed properties, other things like that. Give it to mid-sized and small developers so people can turn it over and develop them themselves. And we've been doing a few of those, turning them into more family homes mostly. gave a few to knock and sell to people, giving people for $1, they develop them, all that kind of stuff we're trying to do to attack that problem.
So is it difficult to acquire a property once it's purchased, but you cannot find the owner per se? Is that a difficult process?
If they have an LLC, yes. Because the LLC has the address of the LLC and not the individual.
Right.
And sometimes the LLC has that address.
What about obtaining them through tax records? Like if they still fall behind on property taxes? Because they're still
taxes are going to be made by the LLC. We try to get, so the state now has a law that they push that says that at least one person has to be on that contact on the LLC. We're tracking that to find out where that is and what's going on. So that will save us all a ton of our problems if they at least have one person on the LLC that's contactable. Because this is a statewide, you know. There are LLCs. I can buy a property on one block as an LLC. I can become another LLC and buy another property on another block. So I, in essence, can have 15 different LLCs. Me and this guy can partner up as one LLC. I can partner up with this one LLC, this one LLC. We have 7 different LLCs. We can purchase as many properties as we want through those LLCs. You know, and that's so the LLC becomes the person and not the individual. That's what people get them to shield themselves from suit. So the LLC becomes the body, the entity itself.
And my last question is, when are you planning to have the next men's meeting?
They just had on Friday.
Missed it. I was out of town.
Yeah, and they have another one September 30th at the Robert Tree Hotel. That one's a breakfast.
Okay, we have 2 final questions, and then we'll have to end the meeting.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Mayor. I'm not going to hold you long. I just got in from work, so. But my husband, my name is Carrie Booker. I live on Astor Street in Newark. My husband said he mentioned about the problem that we're having over there with the drugs, drug dealers, blah, blah, blah. So I have some photos that I want to leave with you. So I'm not, yeah, okay.
I'll be over there in 2 weeks anyway. Your husband said you was making me some lunch or something.
I can speak now? Yes, hi. G. Carrington again from West Ward District 13 leader. I just want to know, Mayor, what's being done about these panhandlers that come into the city from out of state, and you know they're not Newark residents. And what I've done, and they're even making tents. They have tents where they work out of that tent or eat out of the tent because they're there all the time on 3rd, because I've reported 3rd Avenue and Makata Highway. There's a tent there on that hill, and they just have all kinds of debris, trash, food, everything, and they walk and they're begging. They're from out of state, because I stopped one of them. I asked them, where are they from? She said, I'm from South Jersey. She said, She said that, the man said, they tell us you can go to Newark and get money. You can get anything in Newark. And so that's what they come in by the bus loads, the trains, and they're constantly at certain intersections. That's what they say. They say, yeah, we're not from here. There was one on, First Avenue and I think Central and something. And he said, no, I don't live here, but I'm coming in here getting this money.
We call them encampments. So we do have an outreach team. We do have an outreach team through the homeless services that works with the police department, in fact, that goes out to these encampments, remove them and try to get them into services. Can't force them off the street when they're not doing anything illegal. We can't clean up the encampment and try to give them some service. So a lot of folks take it, some people don't. Correct. A lot of those people come from multiple cities. And they do come because we have services, not just money, but we have services. They can get money, but they also want to get food, clothes, other opportunity, hopefully a voucher, all these other kind of things they look for that other municipalities might not have. So that is true. So I wish I had a direct answer for you, because we can't put them on a bus and send them nowhere. I know.
She said, the thing is, I used to call the 6 what they do, they have done something. They have moved, them all went there and talked to them and air was clean and then put the levy. But they're not there. We have their own bus cars. They come in by the trains and stuff.
I would call Louis Valerio though from Homeless Services. So they have him and he has a police officer partner with him.
Okay.
They respond to these things all day. They have a whole team of people that respond to this. They're getting ready to set one up around opioid too.
Okay.
For people who you see that are nodding, that are drug addicted, they have a team that's going to specifically deal with folks that are on drugs.
I want to thank the mayor for coming out, also the police captains for coming out, the council people, Councilman Councilwoman Roundtree, and the lieutenants and the community police. I want to thank you all. Please continue to support Newark People's Assembly. Hopefully everybody sign in. We do have a database where we send out information. Also, we've been canvassing the last 2 days to get a lot of people to come out to the meeting. So we've been knocking on the doors, posting and everything. We just need the community to come out and participate in the meetings. It's food here. Please take some. Thank you all. Be safe.